the sun rises on yet another edition of Coffee Anyone, the talk show from the heart of the mountain state that celebrates differences, celebrates friendships, and celebrates really, really good coffee and tea. Don't forget the tea. We'll meet our esteemed guest in a hot minute, but first, where's Dr. Cannon? Who in the world are you?
Well, for those who might be confused because Dr. Khan and I do have the same haircut, I am actually not Dr. Khan. My name is Chris Newman, and I'm filling in today. Filling in some very big shoes, so hopefully this goes well.
Well, you're doing well so far. Would you like to introduce our esteemed guest? Because you're the man who's done this before. I just sit and push the buttons.
Today we have Asad Derya Khan and his campaign manager in his city council campaign, Beth Zikafus Day.
It's an honor. I'm kind of obligated to be here anyway, so this actually kind of worked out.
Well, good. That worked out. Well, since Chris is the professional, Chris, I'm just going to let you do your thing.
Well, let's just get right into it. You filed for pre-candidacy for Buchanan City Council, and then you decided not to enter the race.
Yes.
I think most of us have read your statements about why you made those decisions, and if anyone hasn't, they're available online on your campaign website and Facebook. What would you say was the high point of your brief period as a pre-candidate?
Well, especially the friends. I mean, just coming together, meeting new people, getting contacted from all over the state of people in higher positions that contacted me asking me if I wanted to go on ahead and give statements, if I would like to be part of their campaign. That's probably one of the highest points of this whole entire thing. And especially, coming together. That's kind of my basis of my campaign. Or was the basis of my campaign, that we all need to go on ahead and come together. So, which, it kind of really helped us. This kind of showed Buchanan that there is hate in this town. However, we can go on ahead and come together. We all have similarities. And like the show has, just sitting down for coffee really, really, really helps. And getting away from social media, that's one of the biggest things.
Right. And the coffee's great on the show.
Yes, I have tea, so.
Tea's probably great also. Since you announced that you decided not to file, and Beth, feel free to chime in anywhere here.
Okay.
Talk over him if you need to. It's okay. One of the local political blogs made some allegations about you, one of them involving your residency.
Yes.
Would you like to address that and explain your residency?
Absolutely. Well, the biggest thing about my residency, which is what everyone's talking about, it's the hip news of the town. Here soon it might even be in People magazine. But currently it's that I filed under my, what everyone thinks is my father's office. Whenever the truth actually is that out of the office, there's actually separate parts. And the part of the office that actually I was living in was separately rented. It was under a completely different contract. It was it was not through my father, it was from the people that actually own the building itself. And everything was actually completely kosher. I contacted the county clerk. She went on ahead and sent me a letter confirming that it was my address, and everything was completely fine. However, people started questioning that there might be a possibility that it might not be as kosher. And the thing is I'm all about running a kosher campaign. I do not want to lie. I do not want to go on ahead and try to short people. So my main thing is I went on ahead and contacted some friends of mine that own apartments in town. And during that time, I went on ahead and was working out a kind of a rental agreement, and I was starting to do my move over to there. And but during this time is whenever everything just kind of started skyrocketing, and it just started going down. And I went on ahead and just started thinking, is this even worth it? It was getting very childish. And for a city council seat, I don't believe that the way things were going was not the way that it needed to be going. If I was running for mayor, president, governor, I'm not going to, dish any of those things. Those things are still a possibility. But if I was running for any of those things, I understand. Absolutely, I understand that people are going to go on ahead and do certain things. But for a city council seat, it just wasn't worth it. I mean, I would rather go on ahead and work with other candidates. I would rather go on ahead and work with, the community. And actually, in all honesty, I've had a very positive experience through this whole entire thing. Even with the negatives always lent to positives. So I can't really say that during this time there's really been any bad things that have happened. I mean, apart from, of course, the reason why I went on ahead and decided to drop, but I'm meaning just the experiences in general.
Well, from a legal standpoint, the residency is sort of a terrible allegation, and I'm glad you've been able to clear that up. But I don't think that we can say that that's the most shocking allegation that we've seen.
Absolutely.
That same political blog has accused you of advocating for the assassination of the president, even. What's that all about?
Well, the thing was, how it really came about is I went on ahead and posted on the WDTV5 channel page. There was a man who was clearly nuts, decided that he wanted to go on ahead and try to drive to the White House, and had a whole bunch of explosives in his car, rounds of ammunition, a whole bunch of other stuff. And I went on ahead and put out there just as a joke. I mean, it was never meant to be taken seriously. It was just made to be something that like Jimmy Kimmel would say or Jimmy Fallon would say. I mean, it was nothing serious. I said he was trying to make America great again. Just, a simple joke. And people immediately took it and just started going nuts with it, started saying that I'm supporting the assassination of President Donald Trump. It just got silly. Later on, actually, my post got taken down. I was taken into kind of a Facebook jail. But later on, people even my conservative friends and liberal friends were contacting me laughing. So it was just made as a joke. Everyone knew that it was a joke, but of course, you always will offend someone with whatever you say in today's world. So it is what it is.
Yeah, that's fair. So your position then on all of the controversy that's surrounding you is that this political blog has taken your words out of context,
absolutely,
blown everything out of proportion.
Absolutely.
Do you have any more examples or evidence of that kind of thing that you'd like to
Well, my biggest
discuss?
example that I do want to go on ahead and say is in the recent article presented by I wouldn't really call him a journalist, a blogger, I guess you could say, was that I went on ahead and put up on Facebook where I called a local delegate a Klan member. I would like to go on ahead and point out one thing that the blogger did not want to go on ahead and put into his story, was that after this was put out, I had some issues regarding that certain delegate. And I went on ahead after a little while and met with him. And I sat down with him. We went on ahead and talked for at least an hour and did exactly the same thing as what we do with this show. We sat down, didn't have coffee, had water, but went on ahead, sat down, and just talked about the differences that we have. And we actually came to a very good understanding. And there's some things that he agrees with that I completely disagree with. There's some things that I agree with that he disagrees with. But we still were able to find common ground. And ironically, during that time, even the reporter himself, even came in. And it was in the middle of the conversation, and without any notice, went on ahead and tried to record our conversation. This was right before I decided to announce that I was running. And he even heard that we were having just a regular conversation. I went on ahead and apologized for exactly what I said. And we went on ahead and just had a nice conversation and came to an agreement. But that's something that he doesn't want to put in that article, because that's not something that goes to, I guess you could say, hurts me. He believes hurts me. And he also wanted to go on ahead and put in the article that I had berated one of the head ladies of the Republican committee. ironically, I went on ahead and during whenever the first article came out, I had contacted her, and we decided we wanted to go ahead and get together and try to resolve whatever issues that we had with each other. And I went on ahead. My father and I met with her. We sat down, we talked over coffee at Stone Tower Brews, one of our sponsors, and we went on ahead and sat there, and we came to a wonderful understanding and a wonderful agreement, and now she's one of my best friends. And in the last article, he felt like he needed to go on ahead and put that out there. But again, he does not want to put out there that actually we already resolved this. This is old news now. So it really comes down to the point of who's manipulating who. He is putting these out to go on ahead and try to hurt a campaign, try to hurt myself, hurt anyone affiliated with me, anyone who supports me. But really, it just ended up blowing back in his face because he's just been posting stuff that is completely wrong.
Well, you may have old news, but mine was fake news. So at least yours has got old news. Mine's just fake. But
Well, in hearing all this, the question that has now entered my mind is, this surveillance was taking place, or this recording, or all of this, digging through your social media posts and everything. This was all taking place before you were a candidate, so you were just a private citizen at that point.
That's correct.
Should we all be worried that we're being surveilled? We're under some kind of surveillance as residents of Buchanan?
Well, the sad part
with
is
no ambition for public office even at that point.
The sad part is some people, whenever they run a campaign, they believe that they need to win no matter what. However they can win, whatever they have to do to win, whoever they have to go through to win, they will try to do. And in doing so, some candidates went on ahead and went through my Facebook and took pictures of whatever, and went on ahead and sent it to this blog, and went on ahead and tried to go on ahead and hurt me. Well, the thing is that anything that I put out, every single last post that I have put out, there's a explanation of the reason why I put it. I do not just go up there and just start posting stuff randomly, sharing stuff randomly, especially without checking history or anything else, which I think at times a lot of people are guilty of on Facebook. And I make sure that whatever I put out there, there's a reason and there is an actual point to that post. And I'm not just putting it out there because I'm racist against a certain group, a certain race or ethnicity or whatever else. For example, the first article was trying to say that I was racist against Christians because I put Christians in a quote unquote. Well, the reason why I put that is because I was meaning the type of people that go out there and believe that their faith allows them to hurt and make other people's lives miserable. That's not religion. I mean, in any shape or form, Muslim, Jewish, Catholic, Christianity, that is in no way, shape, or form religion. Religion's about acceptance, about loving, about taking care of people around you. Not going around and telling them, well, you or I'm better than you, and my faith tells me that that's the way it is. That's not, especially not Christianity. And I think Beth and I can go on ahead and agree with that as well.
Yeah,
because
I believe so.
She's been questioned about her faith. And the thing is that we have to, if we look into Christianity, it's love thy neighbor. That does not mean love thy neighbor apart from that guy. It's love thy neighbor, period. And some people cannot grasp that idea.
Right. And it brings you to the conversation about what love really means. If you're going to say love your neighbor, does that mean that you're attempting to cause them to fail, or does it mean that you're putting out negative information about them, or does it mean that you're hoping they're able to do their best? To me, that's what love would be. But going back to your relationship with Beth, the most shocking thing I found out when reading your statement about why you decided not to run is that people who were working with you, including Beth, and patients of your father's practice, and you yourself were all receiving threats from people in the community, other candidates and their supporters.
Absolutely.
You want to talk about that?
Absolutely. Which I'll kind of speak a little bit, and then I think you have some pretty good stories as well. But some staff members at the office started getting kind of verbally attacked. One staff member in particular, which I will not mention her name because I respect her wholeheartedly, actually got physically attacked.
Sure.
And the thing is that, again, this is a city council seat. In any which way, shape, or form, you should not attack anyone. But especially for city council, where there's 3 seats open. And people were just going and attacking. People were calling for a public execution of myself on Facebook. And it was just getting silly. And the thing is, people are asking me, how do we know that actually happened? Well, the thing is, she went on ahead and reported it. She went on ahead and took care of it. It is not my job to go on ahead and do what the police do. I'm a citizen of Buchanan. I'm not a police officer of Buchanan. So the police, with my understanding, are currently taking care of it. And, that is not my job to do so. Now, if that was me getting physically attacked, which people have already posted on Facebook that they wanted to do to me, and rip me out of my house and, so on and so forth, then I would go on ahead and make sure that I did everything physically possible to take care of that action. But whenever it happens to someone else, including patients and so on and so forth, that is their responsibility. So whatever comes of it, comes of it. But once I received news of it, I knew that this was just getting silly. Other candidates are saying that there's no hate in our town. And to that I say, you cannot run a town on ignorance. It's very clear that there is hate in our town. Now, how do we fix it? Well, everyone has the right to their own opinion. Absolutely. But our main goal should be that to have times like this, where we can gather, we can sit down for coffee, and we can go on ahead and say, not all Muslims are wanting to go out there and are radical and want to blow up Buchanan and, so on and so forth. Or, not all Catholics, want to go on ahead and do certain things, or not all Jewish people want to do certain things. Stereotypes in media are one of the biggest downfalls of our society today. So, it has actually really helped. I've received plenty of calls from people all over, not only our state, but in the city itself, that did not realize how much of hate actually was here, or is here. And it's shown them, and now friends that have posted stuff that was anti-Muslim or anti-anything, they have contacted them and they've said, listen, this is not true. I don't believe there should be discrimination with anyone. That includes Christians, Jewish, Muslims, anything. Everyone's their own individual person. There's no reason why we should go on ahead and look at a person just because of someone of their culture or whatever, to go on ahead and look at them and say, I don't like you because someone way back then went on ahead and did something. So it's just not fair. Not fair at all.
I agree. It's not fair to. And I think that going back to loving your neighbor and what we have discussed in the past is respect. Respect is a form of love. Some form of love has to be there as opposed to the hate. And I'm also my eyes have been opened wider than they've ever been. But this mentality thinking that just because you haven't witnessed something that it didn't happen, with them or what have you, and that it's not here, and that is so not true. And I went to the Republican Christmas party on the Monday night before Christmas, and ultimately, because Derya and I started out really because of a Democrat and a Republican, and it's a nonpartisan election. We get along great. It was a joke. We'll show them how it's done, Derya. We've got more common ground than we do not. That's for sure. We do. And it was never a Christian or a Muslim thing. It was a Republican and a Democrat, and we'll just show them that we all can get along. But then apparently, I found out on Monday night, apparently we can't.
Well, and I think the point of having a nonpartisan election in a small community for a city council race is that all of these people are going to have to sit around the table or around a room together every week and decide things together. Things have to get done at this level, at the city level. Things have to be accomplished. You can't have two people on this side and two people on this side and nothing ever gets done. It doesn't work on a large scale. It definitely doesn't work on a small scale. And I think that, certain people who choose to insert, well, they're, in the grander scheme of things, a member of this party or they're a member of this party into a nonpartisan race, it's counterproductive. It's the opposite of the intent of having a nonpartisan race in the first place. Absolutely. It's a common goal is what we're looking for in a nonpartisan race, not a partisan set of goals. For what that's worth. Now, all that being said, I don't believe that the spirit of this show should be controversy. It shouldn't be confrontation. Absolutely. I do believe in getting both sides of the story. So I'm going to take the liberty with my spot here as a guest host to invite that particular political blogger to come be interviewed as well and tell his side of the story if he should so choose. Absolutely. I'd be happy to sit in on that interview just like I did this one, or if he doesn't want me, then I'm sure somebody else would be happy to do so. Anyway, so everything that we've been talking to also makes me wonder, these types of prejudicial attacks, unpleasantness that you've experienced recently, is this the type of thing that you've always had to live with? Was growing up in Buchanan as a member of a minority community difficult? Do you deal with this stuff in your life as a Buchanan resident when you go out to dinner or when you're on campus at Wesleyan? I grew up here too, but obviously I didn't have to deal with any of those things.
Well, the focus mainly was not on myself, apart from after everything went on ahead and went out there. The focus was mainly on my father, and my father's been dealing with it for years and years and years. And, I saw that. I was a part of that. I mean, I saw the way that he was treated. I saw the way that some people in Buchanan were, putting down Muslims and other class. I mean, it's nuts. One of my safe places is Wesleyan because of the diversity there. So many different people, so many different smart minds. I mean, so many different ideas and beliefs all gather there, and you can sit down and you can have a conversation with them. And there's some people from Spain, there's some people from Ireland, from Scotland, ironically. Hey. I mean, there's a lot of different people that. It's not just people that are from around here. They're people that have traveled, and they've seen it all. And it is a very safe space because you can walk on there, and it's not, whenever you say, okay, I'm Muslim, there's, I think, about 5 or 6 different students that we are all in contact with. I mean, we just there's many different people there, so it is a very safe spot. But like part of my race, we are really pushing them away. A lot of them don't feel safe to stay here. And that was one of the things that I wanted to go on ahead and accomplish. And one of the things that I still will go on ahead and make my goal to accomplish, even if I do not run as a city council member. I'm currently on the Diversity Coalition. We're trying to include absolutely every single culture out there and have either a day towards them or, whatever. That people can come, and if they don't understand a culture, they can learn about it, that they can understand where they are coming from. And, that's kind of the main thing. It has even been taken to the point that some of the candidates were calling and threatening my father and posting anti-Muslim stuff, saying that they never deserve to be in government. And, it's very clear where that was directed towards. But it shows that there is hate, that we can easily go on ahead and just have a conversation and show that we are not the same way that every single person, or not every single person, but media and stereotypes go on ahead and kind of include.
Yeah, we aren't. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
We aren't near as divided as that black and white and, the social media. And I think that if we were just able to meet, we have more common ground than we admit or realize. But on Christmas Eve at midnight, this lady decided to send me a private Facebook message. How can you stand for those people and call yourself a Christian? And that went on into Christmas Day. A Monday evening after the 88, I ended up not staying at the Christmas dinner. I left. I was told that people were hurt by my actions, and I said, did I poke them with a fork and forgot? They're hurt by my actions. And that some question where my loyalty was. So I decided that since I didn't know who those people were, I wasn't going to have my Christmas meal with them. I may end up sitting beside some of the. But I got a call that night from the president of the Republican Women's, and she called me the next night after. Was it the very next day the article came out about me?
I think so, probably.
Yes, and the blogger had said that the Republican committee was meeting to boot me out of there, I guess, because I'm Derya's campaign manager. And it says that in print, and people think that just because it's printed that it's true. And so the president of the Republican Women called me that very night, and she said, absolutely not. My phone has rang off the wall. Are you kicking Beth out? Or maybe some were for, but I don't know. Maybe I don't think a lot of them were, but it's just amazing how it grew. It did, and I've received, you remember this. Are you going to be pleased with this decision in 10 years? I said, what decision? I just called him right out. I said, you know what decision I'm talking about? Your alliance with those people. Oh, that decision, that one. Well, absolutely. I'm going to be pleased with my decision in 10 years. But then after we continued commenting for a little bit, and someone chimed in and said, what is he referring to about your alliances? And I said, oh, he thinks I'm an alliance with radical Muslims. And I said, oh, wait a minute, they aren't radical. But so then he decided that I had insulted him. So he tagged me in a post on his wall. He tags me. He's no longer commenting where we were discussing this. And so now he's told all my friends and his friends that I insulted him. But I didn't. he just thinks that I did, and it's just unbelievable. The messages I've received, the classmates that's called me out on, and I have had some that have just stood by me, and that, you know, people fear what they don't know, and ignorance is the main ingredient of racism. I had a classmate tell me that, and it is. Ignorance is just the main ingredient. She said, "That's Tuesday, you got your work cut out for you." It's like, well, that's all right. I can do it.
And you know, one thing is that I wouldn't have ever dropped if I believed that our current city council lineup was not extremely good. Now, of course, there are a couple exceptions, but the thing is that our lineup with, I mean, many of the candidates are wonderful. I mean, they have Buchanan in mind, and that's what it comes down to. That's absolutely what it comes down to.
Hey, and just like we were talking about before, what love really means, we really need to center on what hate really means too. I mean, there are people that say, "Well, I don't hate Muslims. I just don't
hate them.
I don't think they should be in office." And well, that's the same thing.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're not affording them equality, it's hate. There's no other word for it.
Yes,
I have
absolutely.
so many of those. I'm not racist, but it's like,
right.
but I know there's a but.
If there's a but, then everything
right, yes, you
before
are.
just doesn't,
right.
it doesn't count.
Exactly.
It doesn't count.
Exactly.
Well, since you have decided not to run, you've been working hard behind the scenes on this show.
Absolutely.
I've been to several tapings now, and I can attest to that. So, what's that been like? What's this gig like?
A lot of fun. I mean, absolutely, it's a lot of fun. The people that I work with, of course, my father, because I have to mention him, but Spike, and of course, my significant other, I have to mention her, or I'm sleeping on the couch. But also many, many other people that we've brought in, that we've sat, we've talked to, and people have realized that this is the way that we are. I mean, I'm not the way that these people go on ahead and put me out to be. I mean, it's slander. It's completely and totally just out there. And people have gone on ahead and have seen that this is not the way that this is. I mean, that we are. And that's not the way that also every single person out there is that happens to be Muslim or whatever else. So it's brought us together. That's our main thing. I mean, we are divided so much right now. We need to go on ahead and come together. We need to sit down and have a cup of coffee and realize that we honestly do have a lot of common ground. We'll all have disagreements. But we can go on ahead and come together, have an agreement, and sit down and just talk. And even if you walk out, which is kind of the basis of the show, if you walk out wanting to kill each other, at least you know. You've put social media off to the side. You've went on ahead and actually had a conversation with them. You haven't just sat there typing, which typing can go on ahead and be considered in many different which ways and shape and form. So the thing is that we have sat down and you can actually talk to a person. You can have the eye contact of a person. You can tell if they go on ahead and sit here and say, well, what about this? Compared to on social media, you don't know if they're saying, well, what about this? Or they're just going on a rant or screaming at you or whatever else. So the thing is that it honestly just sits us down and brings us together. And that's the main basis.
And it goes back to love, I think. Respect. It's a form of love, and as opposed to the hate and more hate.
The fact that everyone involved in this show is having fun has really come across, I think, in watching it both in person and on the internet for the ones that I couldn't come to. So, that being said, what's been your favorite moment from doing the show? Any taping, any guests so far? What was your favorite thing that you're like, wow, I can't believe that just happened? That was so much fun.
Oh man, I mean, pretty much every single episode, in all honesty.
They have been.
But most of the time, it's actually the stuff that you don't see on camera. It's more the stuff of we're setting up, we're getting ready, and we just start just doing stuff that we cannot say because of regulations on actual camera, but we just go out there and we just have fun. And like some of the places like Do Re Mi, Stone Tower Brews, here upcoming is Sweet Delicious, they all are sponsoring us, and they go on ahead and close down for us, and we sit down and we just talk with them, and I mean, everything is fun. I mean, that's kind of the main thing. If I wasn't having fun, I would be out of this. First episode, I would be out.
Yeah.
But this is just so much fun.
What do you hope people take away from watching the show? What do you want your audience to come away with?
That it looks in our society that we are truly, truly divided, but in all honesty, we honestly aren't. That we all have things that are common. That we all have things that we can go up on social media, that we can go on ahead and start spewing and doing whatever. But whenever it comes down to it, we all have something in common. And we don't have to just go out there and say, well, you know what, that guy is a Republican or that guy is a Democrat and we should hate him. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you, if you sat down with that person, you would find that you both have something in common.
Absolutely.
Well, that's a great message for the show, I think, and a great way to capture what I think the show has done so far. I think we can probably skip the envelope with you because we don't have.
I'm only an acquaintance.
We don't.
Yeah, I'm only an acquaintance.
There's
It's
no
kind of
piece of paper
50-50.
that says I'm the producer, so
I'm forced to be here.
we'll forego that.
Yeah, that's right.
Guys, thank you for coming on. Great guest host. So I hope you come back and do it again sometime. And you know what the music means, folks. It means our time is up here at Coffee Anyone. Thanks to everyone who came out tonight to watch the taping of the shows. Thank you in advance for subscribing. And remember, it's never too late to take a new friend seriously. Good night, everybody.
We forgot the song again.
I know.
Oh. Okay.
This is the second time.
Rewind back the tape. We can do it. We can do it now. We can add it back in at the end.
You know the
Hold
words.
on.
Can you put the lyrics up?
Yeah, we can. Hold on.
All right.
We forgot the song.
We forgot the bear and the
We
blue
forgot the
mountain
song,
or
so we gotta go
whatever.
on.
Just do the song and then put it in.
Okay.
It's a 1 minute song. It
It's
won't
1
kill us.
minute, literally.
All right, 1, 2.
Hold on.
We don't. I don't see the lyrics.
Go.
But okay, I can wing it.
Okay.
Been up here lighting up the sky. Luna, do you have time to sing a goodbye song
this.
before you go? Always been.
Always.
It's been really fun.
Oh yeah.
Seems like we've just begun. Suddenly we're through. Goodbye, goodbye, good friends, goodbye. 'Cause now it's time to go. But hey, I say, well, that's okay. 'Cause we'll see you very soon, I know. Very soon, I know. Goodbye, goodbye, good friends, goodbye. And tomorrow, just like today, the moon, the bear, and the big blue house will be waiting for you to come and play. To come and play. To come and play.
Bye now.
Bye now.